Hello guys, welcome to the vlog. It's Wednesday morning, it's check-in morning. I'm about to step on the scale. Let's kind of see where things are at. Got to do measurements and pictures and all that fun jazz. So we're gonna get that going, but I'm excited to see you guys here. This is gonna be a pretty damn good episode. I got some fun stuff coming, and I'm really gonna talk about how to get that glute hamstring tie-in that all of you guys want so bad. For at least started to see it pop on my physique, so I'm gonna give you guys my top tips for that. And yeah, gonna take you along with me for some fun stuff that I got going on today. So let's do it. So I just went and picked up the mail, and look what's inside. And dun da 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 da. It's a new bikini. So I have a cool story to tell you guys. Oh, this is gorgeous. So pumped. Woo, 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 woo. Kind of like a superwoman theme, which is super cool. But I gotta tell you guys a cool thing. So Angel Competition Bikinis reached out to me, and they want to sponsor me as one of their athletes. So that's cool, but I said, I haven't even seen your work. I haven't felt it in my hands, I haven't felt it on my body, and I would never want to sign up and be sponsored by somebody without having an opportunity to use the product, to know that I would, if I would even want to recommend it to my clients or recommend it to people that I work with. So I'm giving her a test go. Thank you so much, Angel Competition Bikinis, for sending me this posing suit absolutely free to give it a go, give it a try. Gonna let you guys know in an upcoming episode what I think. So I will wear it next week for my check-ins and when I do my physique update, so you guys will get to see how it's looking at that point. And I'm also going to give you a full review. So what's my honest take on the company, my honest take on the actual product, and let you guys know what I think. So that is to come. I may be linking arms with them. I have to give it some thought and kind of map out if it makes sense for me to do it, see if I actually like it, and see if it's something that I want to pursue. But either way, I am grateful that they thought that I would be a good representative for their brand, that I'd be a good person to to wear their stuff, and I'm really grateful for that opportunity. So I will give it a go, let you guys know in an upcoming episode. But either way, I'm excited. It's always fun to get new bikinis and be able to rock them, especially when they're cool patterns like that. But I actually have another thing. I got a little slip that says I have something else that's in the Canada Post. So another piece of mail that we are going to drive and have to go pick up at the mall, but we'll go see what's in there, and I will show you guys shortly if it's something of interest. Alright guys, so it is my lucky day because I have another package to open from one of my favorite companies. So let's see what it is. Alright, let's see what's inside of here. So they gave me a whole bunch of their products to try. So let's see what we have. We have the Mushroom Sampler Kit. So this one might be a bunch of different ones. Let's see here. Ooh, yeah, we got like a variety pack of all of the different ones. So I've only had the lion's mane, but I'm pumped. So we got a bunch of different ones to try. The Changa, the Reshi, the Cordyceps, all these funny kinds. Cool, I'll have to let you guys know what I think of those. And then they sent me a few full boxes here. So we have the lion's mane with the Changa. And, guys, they sent me the mocha. You guys know I'm a big mocha fan. I'm pumped. That's going to be yummy. Super good. An alternative for hot chocolate for sure. So, that's that one. What else do we got? Oh, and the hot cocoa. So, this is the one that's supposed to be really good as the hot chocolate. My bad. But, yeah, I'll have to let you guys know what this one tastes like. And then the last thing that they sent me here is a tin of the matcha drink mix. So I love matcha tea. I'm super excited for this. Yum! And then a little instruction manual that goes through probably the uses of the different ones. And then it looks like it has even some recipes. So very cool. So this is like my absolute favorite coffee in the entire world, and it's made from mushrooms, so it has less caffeine, but it really just helps with your brain getting on fire and getting focused. So this is the code. If you guys want to give it a try, you can save some money, and let me know what you think. I'm like totally obsessed with it. It's been a game changer in terms of energy levels throughout my prep, and yeah, I'm excited to try these new flavors. I will put a full review and tell you guys what I think in an upcoming episode, but anywho, I'm a lucky lady. I got a couple new things today from awesome companies, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Time to go lift, and let's do it. I checked in with my coach here and just let him know that energy and strength were on the lower side this week, but we persevered. Also let him know that I trained legs on Saturday and the lower body's just been super sore. I've been really pushing all of the workouts to failure, which has been his recommendation, and noticing that recovery is a little bit slower, but I said it's all good. And then I sent him my pictures. So I have both my regular bikini on for the fitness and fitness model category, and then also my figure outfit there and figure suit. So sent him all of those bad boys about how things are looking, and also sent him my measurements and then my nutrition diary, and let him know that I also saw this kind of separation this week, which got me pretty excited. And this is what he said. Upper body is dialed in nicely. We are just missing some lower body detail from the back, which is perfect since that's the only body fat to come off still. I would like to run a carb cycle with you this week. What macros are you going to use today? And then I told him it was a low day, gave him the numbers, so that was my 90-gram carb. And then I asked him what he wanted me to do in terms of the carb cycling. So this is the game plan. So yesterday I did the 90 grams. Now we're on to this one here. So it's 110, and then we're adding 20 grams of carbs each day. So 110 for today, then 130, then 150, 170, 190. And then he said, check in after this. So this is going to be a day early in terms of my check-in. So I changed all my goals in MyFitnessPal and realized that now I'm going to be checking in on Tuesday next week. So that is the game plan for Paul, and we'll just kind of see what that does to my body, and yeah, just see how I'm feeling with all of those additional carbs spread across multiple days versus the 200 grams of carbs all in one shot. All right, guys, so it's Thursday morning. I'm about to take my son to daycare, but I'm also going to go to the grocery store and pick up all of my favorite macro-friendly things, so things that are really easy to work into your macros, good calorie things, high protein things, just all of my favorite products. So let's go do that, and when I get back, you guys are going to get to see what's in my grocery haul. Let's do it. Alright guys, so I just got back from shopping, and I'm super excited to show you guys my grocery haul because we have tons of really fantastic finds and things that you guys are going to find super, super yummy. So let's see. So I do like to buy sweet potato fries like this versus making them by myself. I just find that they have a little bit more flavor and that they just kind of have more of that real fry taste. So the macros for this for 15 pieces is 18 carbs, 6 fats, 2 fiber, and 1 protein. And doing it this way where you're baking them in the oven is going to be way less in terms of calories and macros than going out and grabbing fries. So that is that. I also love these guys. If you haven't tried these ones, they have broccoli, they also have cauliflower, and then broccoli and cheese. And again, macros are really, really good on them. You just bake them in the oven. Let's get you guys some numbers. So for 6 of them, it's 15 carbs, 6 fiber, which is awesome, 4.5 fat, and 3 protein. So that's those guys. Now, I also picked these up last week and loved them. If you have not tried these, they're so good. So they're gluten-free bites, and this flavor is dark chocolate coconut. So for 2 of those balls, it's 100 calories, 13 carbs, 2 fiber, 4 protein, and 4.5 fat. So super duper yummy and a good way to satisfy cravings. Also have Sour Patch Kids gum, which is a way that I kind of combat my sweet tooth. So I find that like while dieting, I'm a sweet tooth kind of person, but having gums of different flavors and having teas of different flavors actually as well is a way that I can kind of not rack up a bunch of calories and stay on track with my diet. So I would highly recommend it. The taste does not last long, so do not expect that it's going to last long, but it certainly can satisfy that cravings for something sweet. So there's that. I always get like a big bag of salad shrimp, and this is actually a way that I can get protein in between meals. So a lot of people, I know you guys really struggle with high protein snacks, and I would recommend that you get something like this that you can have not only on its own but also as a snack in between meals. So for example, 90 grams of this is 0 carbs, only 1 fat, and 14 protein. So when you're in a pickle with your macros and you need something that is only a protein and not a carb or a fat, this is a really great go-to. So that's that. Now, I don't do dairy, but the hubby still does dairy, so I'm going to show you guys some dairy options and then dairy-free options. So for him, I get him this ice cream here, which has good macros. So it's frozen Greek yogurt. Cookies and cream is the flavor. And for half a cup, it's 120 calories, 21 carbs, 3 fat, and 4 protein. So by going with a Greek yogurt or a frozen yogurt, you can keep the calories down and keep the fat content down. So highly recommend that. Now for me, because I do dairy free, I love the So Delicious brand. They have awesome stuff. So they have really great ice cream, but what I find with ice cream is that I want to eat the entire tub. Like it's just the small little pint that they make it in, but it's not portioned. Whereas something like this that's a bar is divided into equal portions, and this flavor is super good. It's actually one of the newer ones, but I love salted caramel. But yeah, so for one of the bars, it's 180 calories, 18 carbs, 12 fat, and 2 protein. So that's a really great dairy-free option for you guys that need a little dessert. Now, you guys know I'm a big fan of cauliflower rice. I eat this like every day. I go through more than a bag a day because it's such a good low-carb option. Now, this is just the plain cauliflower, but they also have like a medley, and then they have one that has sweet potato. Those guys are also a little bit higher in carbs, but for example, 1 full cup of this is only 4 carbs. So when you don't have a lot of carbs to work with, or you just want to have really good volume with your food, highly recommend it. And I love that Green Giant has went ahead and put it together in a bag, because I don't know about you guys, but I liked the idea of cauliflower rice, and I would do recipes with it occasionally, but I found it really time consuming. So now that they do this, I'm like, woohoo, this is awesome. You're saving me some time. It's incredibly convenient, and you literally just put it in the microwave for 5 minutes and it's good to go. So that's also really great when you're preparing a meal. Next is a couple of pasta options. So this is one I've been using for a long time and really like. It's new pasta, and it's only 6 carbs for the entire package, which is awesome. 6 grams of fiber, and then just 1 fat and 1 protein. So it's a really good option. But I found another one that I tried a couple weeks ago, and I wanted to share this one with you guys as well. So it's called Skinny Pasta, and yeah, so it comes in the frozen aisle. You kind of find it with the health food stuff, and 15 carbs, 5 fiber, 13 protein, and only half a gram of fat for 110 calories. So it's a good go-to, and this one has a little bit of a, I would say, more pasta-like texture than the new pasta. So that can be helpful, and it can also be helpful that it has so much protein, because I know a lot of you guys struggle with getting to your protein. So this might be a good pasta option to try. Now, in terms of potatoes, I love these guys. I actually pick these up a lot of the time when I'm traveling because they're really convenient. So it's the Little Potato Company. Comes in this little package, only 5 minutes in the microwave, and it also has a little seasoning pack, which is great when you're traveling because you're probably not going to pick up like seasonings and that kind of thing. So the fact that it comes all together is really great. This one's the garlic and parsley, but yeah, ready in 5 minutes and like a nice whole food meal. So highly recommend those guys as well. And next is these two guys, bagels and flatbreads. So these bagels here are a gluten-free option that I found that's really good. So for the entire bagel, it's only 20 carbs, which is really, really low and nice. 3 fiber, and protein is 2, and fat is 3. And yeah, I just love that it's gluten-free, and gets me to satisfy a craving for bagels. On days when I have higher carbs, I would work in something like this. On a day when I only have like 90 carbs or 110 carbs, you won't find me working in something that's 20 grams of carbs. I pretty much just stick to vegetables. And there's also these great little multi-grain sandwich buns. So I've been using the Weight Watcher ones for a while, but I found these guys, and they have pretty similar macros to the Weight Watchers, and I actually like the taste a little bit better. So I got them at Zehrs, called One Bun, and yeah, I like the ingredients. I just like them. They're a little bit tastier than the Weight Watchers. Then, this is my go-to Caesar dressing. It's dairy-free. I use it on a lot of things. I also use a lot of soy sauce. So, there we go. Because sodium is so important as an athlete. Really having enough sodium is how I'm able to get those epic pumps when I'm doing my training sessions. So, I use this bad boy for that. In terms of oils, I use an olive oil spray a lot of the time. Now, one little tip with it is that you want to make sure that you are tracking it. Some people will just spray and not measure it, and those calories can easily add up and be one of the reasons why you might not be losing weight. You might be doing things like this, like spraying things in the pan and not tracking those calories, and those calories are going to be calories that need to be accounted for. But this is going to be less than using an actual oil. So if I'm in my off season and I have a lot of fats to work with, then I don't worry about working in oil more often. But certainly at this stage of the game, when the calories aren't high, using a spray is a way better way to kind of stretch it. My go-to pancake syrup here. So shown this to you guys before, but some of you guys, this might be the first video that you've seen of mine. So this is the E.D. Smith syrup. So I use this for my waffles and my pancakes, and it's really good macros, only 7 carbs for 3 tablespoons, which is a pretty good portion. So I love that guy. Now, this is a go-to for my protein oats, and I just tried it because a friend showed it to me, and I was like, oh my god, this needs to be part of my new go-to. I need to share this with my YouTube, because, yeah, the macros are amazing. It's powdered peanut butter, but I wanted to, wanted to share it with you guys because it's so yummy, and it is 6 carbs, 4 protein, and only 1 fat, making for 45 calories, which is unreal for peanut butter. And we got a couple more things here, guys. So we have This cream cheese, this is another dairy-free spread. This one here is the chive and onion. I really like a lot of the products that Daiya puts out in terms of the dairy-free options. So for 1 tablespoon, it's 2.5 fat, 2 carbs, and 0.3 protein. So I'm going to be using that on my bagel on some of my higher carb days that are coming up here. And then these guys, if you haven't tried them, they are fantastic. The Good Bean is the company, but 15 carbs for an ounce, which is like a pretty good portion of them. And then they have 2 grams of fiber, 6 grams of fat, and 4 grams of protein. So they're made from beans and chickpeas and stuff. So all lots of really goodness and can really help satisfy those cravings for salt. What else do we got on the table here to show you guys? Okay, we have my go-to granola, which is this Go Lean Cashew. Again, something I would only work in on a high carb day because it isn't low carb, but it's definitely delicious. So sometimes I'll use it as a bowl of cereal and then add some unsweetened almond milk to it or unsweetened coconut milk. But this is my favorite cereal and favorite granola by far. It's delicious. The macros aren't too terrible. It's got good fiber numbers, good protein numbers. So there's that. And then have one more little snacky thing to show you. I also really like these guys. So these are the Way Better black bean, whole grain corn tortilla chips. And yeah, these guys are a little bit higher on the fats and a little bit higher on the carbs than the Good Bean. But for 50 grams or 16 chips, it's 27 carb, 6 fiber, 12 fat, and 4 protein. But I just love that they have such good fiber numbers, that they do come with some protein, and that they just have a lot of goodness in it. So those are some of the snacky options if you guys want to give a couple of those things a go. And last thing is this 000 yogurt that I get for Jamie. So in terms of macros, it's 10 carbs, 8 protein, and 0 fat. And a lot of the Greek yogurts out there will have higher amounts of carbs and not as much protein. But this 000 is a really, really good one, so I get this for him to have. And I just picked up another seasoning. I've showed you guys before, but my go-to seasonings for all of my things that I'm making are Tex-Mex and Montreal chicken, Montreal steak, lemon and dill, and then I just picked up this garlic plus one. I'm a big garlic fan, but I have been using up till this point sometimes putting in like minced garlic, but I'm gonna switch over and just do it as a seasoning now so that I don't have to track all the minced garlic and just kind of cut back because we're getting pretty close to showtime. So that is everything on the table, and that's my little grocery haul. So I want you guys to go out, try to find some of these items, give them a go, and then let me know what you think. In the comment section below, I'd love to know what you guys think, if you tried some of the stuff, what you thought of it, and if it's going to be a new staple in your house too. Bye. Hey guys, what's up? Time for me to give you guys my top tips for getting the GLUTE-HAM tie-in, which is that little part underneath your bum to pop when you are on stage, or if it's just an area that you want to see get a little bit leaner. So I'm going to give you my top tips, also going to show you some of my favorite movements, and really just help set you up for success in this area that is such a trouble area for so many people. So first tip is that we have to plant the seeds and grow the muscles before we get lean, okay? So if you have not built the muscle underneath and you're trying to lean out and you're not seeing the definition that's there, it's possible that the muscle has not grown. It's possible that the muscle is not there. So before you even get into the process of dieting, preparing for the stage, or trying to get really lean, we have to make sure that we've planted the seeds and been in a growth phase to really create the muscle that we want to see come through. So that is the first thing. We need time in a surplus. We need time eating a lot of food, get the muscles to grow, and then we'll be able to set ourselves up for success when we're trying to lean out. Next tip is that for a lot of women, your upper body is going to get a lot more shredded and your lower body is going to be the last place to lose. A lot of times this has to do with genetics and you can't do anything about it, okay? So you just have to be patient with the fact that your upper body may look totally ready for stage, but it might just take longer for your lower body to catch up, okay? So with that being said, you have to get very, very lean, and you might even have to sacrifice some upper body muscle to be able to get the kind of definition. So when you're preparing for a show or dieting, you gotta leave yourself enough time. I started dieting in August, and it's now April. And yes, now my glutes and hamstrings are really coming through, as you guys can see in some of the footage and stuff that I'm sharing. But I've left a lot of time to diet. I haven't been trying to race through a 12-week prep. I really have been doing it nice and slow. So you got to give yourself enough time. If you try to race it, you're going to run out of time and you're not going to be ready with the low level of leanness that you want. You're not going to be able to get to that elite conditioning. You have to start early. It's better to give yourself 30 weeks to diet and give yourself that breathing room so that if you do get ahead of the game, that's great, but if you don't, you're not stressed out trying to get rid of those last couple of pounds that can be incredibly stubborn. So we got to plant the seeds and we got the muscles grown, and then we have to leave ourselves enough time to get lean. Those are the fundamentals of like the nutrition component. Now let's talk about the training. So people think there is a glute-ham tie-in muscle. That is not the case, guys. There is your gluteus maximus, which is your bum, and then you have your hamstring. So they are two different muscles, and we have to work both of them. We have to build both of them, strengthen both of them, and perform the exercises properly so that the right muscles are doing the work, the right muscles are contracting when we need them to contract. Okay, so first let's talk about the glutes, then we're going to talk about the hamstrings, and then we're going to talk about the big compound lifts that are going to hit both of them. Okay, so first the glutes. So my go-to exercises for glute training, I do not make it complicated. I keep it simple so that I can just focus on my bum squeezing as hard as it can, and that is the only thing that I'm focused on. So you will not find me doing all these fancy movements in the gym. You will only find me doing the basics and focusing on the muscles. So the things we're going to do for glutes in terms of your training, guys, is you're going to do glute-focused lunges, glute-focused Bulgarian split squats, glute-focused back extensions, and then some like single leg or isolated band work for your glutes as well. So I'm going to go through the lunges and the Bulgarians first and show you how you can make it so it's just your glute that's doing the work and not your quads taking over. Okay? So, Bulgarian split squats. I'm just going to show you using this little stool that I have here. I'm just going to go from the side so you guys can see. So when it comes to setting up for the Bulgarian split squat and you're putting your foot on the back place, like on a bench or wherever it is that you're going to be placing it, you're going to place it up there and your other foot's going to be going forward. But what I see from people is that the stride is too far and then your front quad is just doing all of the work. And what we want is we actually want this back booty muscle to be the guy that's doing all of the work when we're doing the Bulgarian split squat. So it's important that your stride is not all that far. I can just gently slide this back, but you guys would set up on your bench so that you have enough, or not a ton of space, that you're pretty close together when you're going to do the movement. Now when you go down for the Bulgarian split squat, I'm going to have you guys practice this. I want you to place your hand on the back of your hamstring, so the area that we want to feel doing the work, just like when I was teaching you guys about shoulders. I want you guys to place your hand on the muscle so you can feel what you should be feeling when you're doing the particular movement. So when you go down and lower yourself, you're going to come down here, and then when you go to press back up, I want you to just think about squeezing that bum cheek as hard as you can right here. So you're placing your hand on it so you can feel it happening. Okay, so when you go down, you're not even thinking about that front leg. All you're thinking about right here is that back leg. It's lengthening, and then when you come up. I just want you to think about squeezing your bum as tightly as you can. You can do this with no weight and get an incredibly good burn, but you just need to make sure that it is only this back leg that's doing the work and that's not your front quad that's taking over and being the guy where all your energy and where your mind is going. I want you only to think about the back one. So that is the Bulgarian split squat, and it's really important that the muscle that you want to work is the guy doing the work. Same thing when you're doing glute focused lunges, guys, is you do not want that front quad being the dominant one and being where all of your mental energy is going. So when you're going to lower down, we're going to do the same thing. Place your hand right on your ass and say, hey, wake up. You're the guy I want to be working when I'm doing this particular movement. So you don't want to be thinking about the front quad at all. All I want you thinking about when you're in your stride, again, not very far with your legs, because when you get really far out, you're going to feel that front quad do all the work. So just kind of like a gentle stride, not very far in terms of your extension. And I want you to lower down. And when you go to come up, all I want you to do is think about squeezing that back butt cheek. You should feel it underneath where your hand is. You want to feel it working, okay? Don't even think about what's happening with that front leg at all. You're only mentally thinking about, I gotta squeeze that back butt cheek as hard as I can. And again, even practicing it with body weight and no weight, you're just working on mastering the contraction of the muscle. Growing muscles and making muscles pop only happens when we isolate them. So when we're trying to move a lot of weight or when we're not really thinking about what it is that we're doing, we're not going to see the gains that we want. So I want you guys to really focus on practicing your Bulgarian split squats and practicing your lunges with just the bum doing the work. Okay? Now, the glute-focused back extension. I don't have a back extension machine here, but some people, when you go to do it, you'll see that when you're on a back extension machine, you're coming all the way up and it's your like the base of your spine that's doing the work. And Brett Contreras, who's like the glute guy and kind of studied the butt, he's been able to take that exercise and be like, hey, if we do it in this way, which is focusing on the glutes, we can see really good growth. So when I'm on the back extension machine, I place my toes slightly out, my heels slightly in, and I imagine all of the weight being on the heels, okay? So that's the first cue. The second cue is when I go to come up, this is what my back looks like. So instead of coming up to this back extension movement, what you want to do when you go to come up, guys, is you're going to put your bum like that. So you're going to do a tilt of your pelvis and squeeze it as you go to come up. So you're going to be tilted over top of the machine. You can place your hand on your butt again, just like what we were doing with the other movements. And when you go to come up, this is what I want to see from you guys, that you're just doing that. Okay, so that means your upper back is rounded, that everything's kind of a little bit crunched forward, but you're thinking about all I need to do is have this work right in my bum. You want to feel it where it's the area where you're targeting. So you're wrapping your body around the back extension, going to come up, squeezing your bum, tilting your pelvis, and creating kind of like this little pooch with the front of your stomach, because all you're thinking about is going from that position of being lengthened into like that. Alrighty, moving over to the hamstrings. So with your hamstrings, again, we need to make sure that it's just the hamstring doing the work. If you're doing like hamstring exercises and what you're feeling is your calves working, we gotta work on your form, okay? This happens all the time. People will tell me, hey, I tried to do leg curls, but I only felt it in my calves. So it's the setup that you're doing when you're setting yourself up on the machine. You're not positioning it properly. We need to make sure that in terms of where it's hitting you with the little panel, it's important that it's resting right on the back of your ankle so that it's not your calf taking over. We also need to go incredibly light so that we can focus on the muscular contraction. And before we've mastered the movement, I'll have my clients do them very, very slowly so we can really, really master it. And you can see a lot of growth in the hamstrings by doing a slow eccentric or when you're returning your leg back to the starting position. So when it goes to come up and you're in a lying leg curl machine, this is what I'm doing when I'm like pulling the weight up, okay? You're just going to have to imagine this because I don't have a lying leg curl machine with me right now. But I'm going to stand up on the chair and I'm going to show you guys what happens with my legs. So when I go to stand up here and I go to curl the leg, okay, You're gonna curl it up as if you're in the machine, and you're gonna reach back while you're doing it. Practice with just one leg at a time, and you wanna place your hand right here, okay? So that's your hamstring. You can feel it, and you wanna feel that muscle working. So you're going to curl it back with your toes being pointed versus them being flexed, and then you're gonna practice going nice and slow all the way back to the starting position, like that. Okay, so that is where we need to feel it. I want you to practice concentrating on this part of your leg being the part of your leg that's doing the work. And you can do this even with no weight. Practice the squeeze because we need to get a good muscular contraction. If you're doing that range of motion and you're still only feeling that your calves are taking over, we need to work on programming your brain to fire up right here instead. Okay? So those are leg curls, and I do seated and lying leg curls to build those guys up. Now, I also do dumbbell stiff-legged and dumbbell Romanian deadlifts. So I'm going to show you guys a little tip with that as well. Essentially, I do like to wear nice flat Converse, which allows me to connect with the ground. You can also do this barefoot, but the big part of it is that your heels and the posterior of your chain of like the backs of your legs need to be where the work is happening. So you need to be able to feel that in the backs of your legs. So what I'm going to do with the movement for that, I'm just going to move my camera down here so you guys can see this from a slightly different angle here. There we go. Okay. So when we go to set up and go to bend over for both the stiff-legged and the Romanian deadlift, you want to make sure that we have a soft bend in the knee. And what I like to do is I actually like to lift my toes right off of the floor so that there's absolutely no weight in the balls of my feet. And then when I go to bend over, I'm imagining my butt staying incredibly high and imagining those heels pressing down. So again, we're going to practice just bending over like this and feeling the backs of your legs fire up. So when you put all of the weight onto the backs of your heels, you want to feel that entire area being the muscle that's firing. So you're going to just practice bending over, pressing those heels into the ground, keeping your bum high, and then coming back up to the starting position. So not even with any weight, guys. You want to make sure that you've mastered this. Soft bend in the knees, press your hips back, press your heels back. Feel that lengthening in the backs of your legs when you're going to do it. Keep your bum high, and you should feel this right in the area that you want to be doing the work, and then squeeze your bum when you go to come back up. So that covers the hamstrings and the growth of it. Now we do have 3 compound lifts that I want to see you guys doing twice per week. Sumo deadlifts are one of them with a barbell. They are going to hit the glutes, they're going to hit the lower back, they're going to hit the hamstrings, and they're just a really good all over compound lift that is going to really create some great gains in your body. The other one is leg press. I like to switch up my foot position, so do some of it wide-legged, some of it regular foot position, do some of it narrow, just so you have a nice round lower body development. And then the third one is the barbell hip thrust. Okay, so in terms of my tips for the barbell hip thrust, I'm going to show you again with my little bench thinger I have here to show you guys what I want to see from your barbell hip thrust to make sure that you're not having your lower back take over. You want it to be just your bum that's doing the work. And what happens is for women, we're almost too flexible and we can go a little bit too far when we go to do it, and then it takes all of the work out of the glutes. So we're going to practice this with no weight, really get just the bum on fire, just the bum doing the work, master that before we start adding some load. And I'm going to give you guys my tips for that right now. All right, so when you are setting up here, guys, I'm just going to place my shoulders up here as if I'm doing it at the gym, okay? And feet are going to be about shoulder width. Now this guy kind of slides, so if you see me kind of getting a little bit adjusted, it's just because I'm trying to get myself up. But I'm going to show you what I want your pelvis to do and what I want your glutes to do, and then kind of what I see sometimes that is going to take the work out of your bum and put it into your quads, which is not what we want, okay? So from here, guys, when you go to lift up, I'm just going to get myself into position here. Okay, So when you go to lift up from this position and you have the bar over top of your hips, or you're doing any variation of it here, there are a few things that you want to be really, really mindful of. So when you go to come up from this position here, what often happens for women, they go to come up and then they create this like straight line, right? They create a straight line all the way from their kneecaps to their shoulders. And in this position, what often is happening is they're feeling their quads burn. They're like, what in the world? I don't think I'm doing this right, or they're not maximizing the movement. When you see me do a barbell hip thrust, you're not going to see me coming all the way up to that position. You're going to see me doing it, that it is only my bum doing the work. So we're going down from here. Bum's going down towards the ground, keeping my chin tucked. And then when I go to come up, what's happening, guys, is I'm literally doing this. And you can see this is completely different with my bum kind of hanging down lower, right? I'm not coming up to this position and creating a flat line. I'm keeping it just my bum doing the work. So when I'm going to come up, coming from here, and all I'm doing is tilting my pelvis to go like boom. So I'm imagining those front bones on my pelvis rotating, and this all being my bum doing the lift. Okay, so I want you guys to practice no weight. You can place your hands on your bum if it's going to help you connect with the muscle, and then when you go to come up, all I want you to do is tilt your pelvis. Imagine those bones having to rotate, and you should feel that it is just your bum here that's burning, not your quads. So that is going to be your homework with your hip thrust, to make sure it's just your buns doing the work. And I got one more final tip for you guys. So in terms of setting up your training plan, those 3 big lifts I just talked about, your barbell sumo deadlift, your barbell hip thrust, and your leg press, I really, really suggest that in your off season when you're trying to grow, and for even the first few months of cutting and preparing for a show, that you do those 3 big lifts with the accessory work for glutes and hamstrings 2 times a week, okay? So for one of the days for your lower body, my suggestion for those 3 big lifts is that you do them heavy. So about 8 repetitions, 4 sets, and you're pushing it. Okay, guys? So you're really working on progressing the weight each week, lifting heavy, really focusing on your form with it, and thinking about squeezing your bum. It should almost make like this ugly, wrinkly bum when you're squeezing and contracting it as hard as you can. Okay? And then the second time when you do them throughout the week, you're going to do more of a high rep structure. So you're going to do anywhere from 15 to 20 reps, 3 to 4 sets, and that's of those big lifts that I'm talking about. So you're doing deadlifts again with high rep style this time, and you're doing leg press high rep style, and you're doing your hip thrust high rep style. Still doing your accessory work. I've found benefit in doing a couple exercises for each on each of the leg days, along with some stuff for the quads like leg extensions. So that's how I would suggest that you structure your program. But your main homework, if it's an area that you really cannot develop, is mastering the movements with all the tips that I've provided. Because I can tell you right now, often if we haven't really mastered how we're executing the exercises, we could be doing the best program, but we're really not able to maximize the results because we're not executing properly. So you guys got lots of homework. Even if you've been lifting for a long time, I really suggest that you rehearse and practice with body weight, touching the muscles, feeling them underneath your hand. And you might do that and be like, yeah, I'm good to go. I can feel them firing. Everything's fine, right? Or you might feel, whoa, nothing's happening underneath there, in which case we need to work on connecting the mind with the muscle, which is going to maximize the results. And that's it. Those are your tips that you guys have to take into action. This is the end of another vlog, so I hope you guys had an amazing week. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we will catch you next time. We are 4 weeks out, and yeah, it's go time, baby. Let's do it.